welcome back. We are going to be working on the governor removal. We'll get a light and shine through there where y'all can actually see what I'm doing here. I know a lot of y'all, a lot of you guys already know all this, but there's people out there that are trying to learn, and me as well. So let's just bear with me. I have got a long, skinny bunch. And here is your governor rod. But when it comes all the way down there, the shoulder, I don't know how well y'all can see that, or that elbow that's in there right there is rubbing on the balancer of the crank. It's not that when you get this crank in the right position that it just literally falls out. It's going to rub as I tap it onto the balancer. I don't know if you can see that, but it's going to rub on there, and it may even spin this around as it comes out a little bit. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, there it went. Like I said, it does rub on the balancer a little bit, but it's not very much at all. It's certainly not enough to even bend the rod or anything. So it does work. I did order us 2 new gaskets to go in here, but we did not rip that gasket taking that side cover off. It is completely reusable, and it's new anyway. I mean, this thing has no miles on it hardly at all. Okay, we got that loose. All right, we'll go around to the other side. We'll start getting the flywheel off of it. Okay, so we're over here. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get this cover off of there, and we are going to take loose the power from the battery. Take the battery loose. I don't want to have to worry about something getting shorted out. Okay. Now, I just feel better whenever that power, that voltage is taken loose. It's so easy to set something or touch something with a wrench and, short something out. We'll put this little old rag up in here so we don't scratch up that fancy paint job. All right. There it went. Oh, and I forgot. So we do have to take the coil off of there in order to remove the flywheel, and the reason is we have a ring gear for the starter on it, and it sticks out back there behind the coil a little bit. So everybody's got their way of pulling a flywheel, and you will see a lot of people put a pry bar underneath the flywheel, and then they'll hit out here with a hammer. And I've got nothing against that, really. It works, and I don't know that I've ever seen a flywheel damaged from doing that. But anyway, so I was raised up and, taught to use one of these. Okay. This one here belonged to my father, and it's probably 50 years old, maybe older. And it does a good job. So anyway, I'm not saying that you can't do it the other way, but I just prefer, I prefer to use a puller. And one thing we are going to do, because as you know, once we remove the governor off of here, we're going to be getting a lot more RPM out of this. Removing the governor is probably one of the single biggest things that you can do to increase the RPM of this engine. Okay, and everybody says that you've got to replace the flywheel with a billet flywheel if you're going to remove the governor. And I don't know that I necessarily agree 100% with that. There are people out there that have done exactly what I've done and with no problems at all. And I think one of the reasons it could be a problem is this here magnet is glued and it has only one screw that holds it in. So we are going to get this in a vise and we're going to check that screw and make sure it is torqued down properly. The glue does look good under there. It looks like it's fully glued in. And I don't see any reason why there should be a problem with this doing more RPM. And, if it does, we'll have to deal with it. Now, I did look at some billet flywheels, and you can get them. They're not really that expensive, really. The one problem I did find was getting one with a starter ring gear on it. Okay. Now, I found one that's not necessarily for this particular engine, and it was like $350. So I'm not saying we're not going to change out the flywheel one day. Be honest with you, if I could, I would. But I'm going to have to figure out where I can get a billet flywheel with a ring gear, and then we can come back at a later date and change that out. But for now, we're going to run it. That is the shaft for the governor. Okay, and we're going to be knocking it out. There we go. There it is. You always want to make sure you get this, okay? You do not want to leave that inside the engine. Okay, we got her done. We are going to need to get rid of or move a couple of things here. And we may end up having to remove this relay too. May even pull the starter completely off. And if we need to, I mean, it's all removable. The battery box, it's removable. It's not a problem, but if we don't have to move them, I'm not going to. But I've got to get enough room in here to work, because we have to thread this hole out. We are going to take a little bit of grease, okay? I'm going to take a dollop of grease and I'm going to put it on the inside of the motor on the back of where these two holes are. And that way it will capture the metal shavings, okay? Instead of just letting them drop down inside the engine. Okay, folks, we've got a, let's see, what was that? 7/16 NC14 tap. Okay, and I believe that I can tap that hole out right there. If I can find a bolt that'll match, you know, a short bolt or a bolt that I can cut it off to the right length, because we don't want a lot sticking out inside the block. But I think we can tap that out and simply put the block tight and screw a small bolt right back in that hole, and that'll be good. So let me see if I can dig up a bolt. Okay, so what I've got here is, so what I'm trying to say is, when I've got the tap in there, there's no way to get the tool, the wrench that goes on this tap that I normally use, in there because of the frame. But if you take a star socket, okay, 1/4 inch, and then you can put that on your ratchet, and that'll fit right there. Okay, and it's a good solid fit. All right, folks. So I decided to go with just a regular old 1/4 inch bolt. You know, it's got a slotted head. They're a little bit rounded. You know, they're kind of rounded on the top, and I thought that'd be really good, especially in there behind the flywheel. You know, because there's not a lot of room in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put one up here as well. Okay. So we've got these two little holes up here. We've got them plugged with 1/4 inch bolts. And then we've got the 7/16 down here. The only problem is I don't have a bolt short enough to use, and I don't have a bolt that is threaded all the way where I can just cut it off to whatever length. So that means I am gonna have to go to the hardware store and get a bolt. It's a little bit too late in the day to be doing that today, so sorry, but there will be a part 3 on this. But when we return, I will have the right length of bolt. We'll get this engine put back together, and we'll take it for its first test drive with the new Mikuni carburetor and the governor removed. So anyway, I appreciate y'all tuning in. We will see y'all later. Bye.